Hi guys, Thomas and Friends 47 here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new for 2025. This is the Talking Classic Thomas, and I have been so excited for this ever since it was announced. Here we can see the packaging. Here's a look at the back of the packaging. You can see there it says, "So much to do and say," and we have Thomas and All Engines Go James there. Here's a look at the other side with Clarabelle, and here's a look at the top of the packaging. And then here's a look at the bottom. We can see, of course, all the legal information and that Classic Thomas barcode. But enough with the packaging, let's take a look at him out of the box. And here we can see he looks amazing. There's so much great detail here, including all the little bolt details. We have the handrail details, the cab insert there. Looks very nice. They've done a great job with this. Here's a look at the front. We can see the buffers there, of course the lamp there. We can see the porthole stickers on the cab windows, which look really cool. And then when you press the top of the engine, you'll hear Thomas talk. You'll see the light up. Now, we'll hear the engine talk a little bit later, but I just want to show the functionality of it there. And then here's a closer look at the cab sticker there on the engine. I love the whistle detail. Like, I love the other one because it has the molded detail, the plain one, but I really like the sticker there. I think it looks really good. Here's a look at the other side of the engine, which is pretty much the same, but that's okay. Here's a look at the back of the engine. We can see the speaker there and the cold load detail. Here's a look at the top of the engine. We can see the lamp there, the boiler bands, the button. It looks really good. Here's a look at the bottom. We can see the bottom of the engine, the little pedals there that control the speaking function when the engine stops. And then here's a comparison between the standard motorized Thomas and the talking motorized Thomas. Both look very nice. And you can see it's just slightly taller than the simple, or not the simple, but the plain motorized one. Here's like the All Engines Go Talking Thomas, and you can see the All Engines Go Talking Thomas is a little bit taller than the Talking Classic Thomas. So it's in between the All Engines Go scale and the new motorized scale. Alright, next let's take a look at Annie and Clarabelle. And here we can see they've done a great job with these coaches. These are all new molds. It just looks really, really spectacular. I do wish that they had well, here's a look at the face. I do wish they hadn't left so much plastic underneath the coach. As you can see there, I wish there was a little bit of space in between, but other than that, it's not bad. Here's a look at the other side, and you'll see the roof does open up there. That's how it opens up on the side. We'll take a look at the interior in just a second. Here's a look at the back of the coaches. And then here's a look at the top. And then we can see on the inside. Now the scaling is a little bit off. The chair's a little bit too small for this new scale. And I don't like all the little slats in between, but other than that, it's not bad. Here's a look at the bottom, and then here's a look at Clarabelle. I really like all the prints for the names and stuff. It looks really nice and very crisp. Here's a look at the front. Here's a look at the other side. Here's a look at the back. We can see that great face detail there. Here's a look at the top. And then again, the interior on the inside. Here's a look at the bottom. And then here's a quick comparison with the Tomy Play-Row Trackmaster Annie and Clarabelle. And here's a comparison with the motorized Thomas. And you can see here, this is actually my custom Thomas there that I've done. Alright, now here's how to put in batteries. We're going to remove the screw at the front and the back of the engine. Then we're going to slide the chassis out. You can see the inside of the shell there. And then we're going to replace the batteries. Make sure they're facing the right way, and always test it before putting everything back together. Alright, but now that we've seen everything put together, let's take a look at this engine in action.
Goodbye, Thomas. Goodbye, Diesel.
Hello, friend. Hi, Diesel. What are you doing? Keeping busy. Oh, hello, Thomas.
Hi, Bruno. I love to be a really useful engine.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and let Thomas run on this set while we talk a little bit about this model. So first of all, I love the talking engines. If you've watched any of my previous reviews on the talking engines, you will know that I absolutely adore that wave and that line because they're just so much fun. They bring so much life to these engines and these trains, and it's a lot of fun to be able to run them and see them talking and just hear them interacting with each other. When I had all of these out, I had I want to say it was 11 different characters in total, and they were all just talking to each other, going back and forth, and I really, really do love that. I think they've done a great job on that. I appreciate the fact, too, that Mattel re-recorded the lines, and, like, Thomas, recognizes Bruno, and he recognizes Kana. They could have easily skipped over that, or they could have easily just left it out and just put, like, the generic hello friend for engines that it didn't recognize. But I appreciate the fact that they didn't, and that they went in and re-recorded all of that new sounds and new data. And then I appreciate that they got the British Thomas back as well. They could have easily just done a generic voice or done something different, but they didn't. They kept it the same, and I really appreciate that. I think they did a good job on that. The model itself, I love the talking features. The looks of the model, I wish weren't so chunky. I wish the cab wasn't as tall as it is. It's not bad, but I think it could have been just a little bit better. I wish it had been just a little bit better to work with that motorized scale just a little bit more, because new motorized scale I don't mind as much, but this is a little bit too big. Annie and Clarabelle, on the other hand, though, look great. I love the details on them. I love the interior details. I do wish they were scaled just a little bit better on the interior details. And I wish they hadn't put the lines through the coach and then like the spaces on the bottom of the floor. I wish that had been done just a little bit better, like just a separate insert, kind of like what they did with the Trackmaster 2 versions of Annie and Clarabelle. Also, one thing to note, so he doesn't work very well with the barrel loader set. Which is ironic because you would think that it would be engineered for that. It's not that it's bad, but it doesn't work perfectly, and that's for all talking engines. It's not just this talking engine. But with the grooves in the track that hit the cars, like it's the little point that makes the barrels fly out. When it hits that trigger, it takes and causes the engine to stop because it also hits the brake pedal. So I had to constantly kind of, push it forward over those grooves to get it to run. Sometimes it wouldn't do it all the way, but for the most part, it didn't run very well. It did okay on the turntable, and it did okay in the station, but as for the side bits where it's supposed to hit that contact point, it didn't do very well. So just be aware of that. If you're buying this specifically for use with that set, it doesn't work perfectly with that set. But all in all, I think it's a great model. I think Mattel's done a great job, and I definitely think they're headed in the right direction. And I love this so much, and I hope we get tons more of these new talking engines because I can't wait to add them here to my collection. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now. Thank you.